I think, honestly, there's more diehards in Canada than there are in the States. And maybe it's just because our season is short. And I see it at the Masters every year. There's so many Canadians down at the Masters.
This week, the boys are stoked to have legend of Canadian broadcasting, TSN's James Duthie, on the show. He's taking us inside Augusta National, the media lottery that got him on the course with a bag full of Walmart golf balls, what it was really like watching Rory make history, and that Wayne Gretzky question that divided a nation. Plus, Tiger's latest arrest, Gary Woodland's incredible comeback, and Stefan's downfall from his loss at the weekend. Welcome to episode 17 of Sandbagger Sessions. Alrighty. You ready?
Yeah.
With a little pink solo?
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. A little orange juice there. Love it.
Water and Percocets.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 16. A big week here. And Stefan's good friend.
Apparently we're going to find out.
Yeah, we're going to find out. James Duthie on the episode today. Before we get to James very soon, we'll do what we always do, birdie, par, bogey this week. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Gained a few subscribers last week. So we're,
hell yeah.
We're
10.
we're 10. All right. We're almost 50 now.
Nice.
But
Wish you told me higher.
What's that?
I really wish you said higher.
Yeah. It's a grind, man. You've done this before.
Yeah.
So welcome. Really, really pumped for this evening. But lots to talk about, both on and off the golf course last week. Should we just let's just get straight into the meaty one.
Yeah.
Tiger.
Yeah.
What's going on?
So, I mean, I thought about how I wanted to word this on the way over.
Yeah.
Because usually, you know me, I'm going to make a joke. I made a joke off the start of this podcast about it. And when all the memes were coming through, I was obviously laughing about them. And everyone knows we don't need Tiger got in his fourth car crash, third DUI. I think second, that was actually a DUI. The more I've kind of put thought into it, it's there's so many different feelings. There's there's a sad element, not like for Tiger. I mean, I guess like it's more like an empathetic sad to it. And then so that was like the initial thoughts were laughter. And it's like, I can't believe it's happening again. I didn't even think about the DUI element, right?
Well, and if people maybe not have seen, he was arrested for a DUI because he blew zero on the breathalyzer, so no alcohol, but was showing clear signs of impairment, refused a urology or a urine sample, and that's what led to the DUI.
Yeah,
arrest.
And he was arrested for DUI, I think, I forget what it was, early 2018, whenever it was.
For a similar reason, I think.
And it was painkillers, Xanax, weed, cocktail.
The guy is half bionic at this point with the amount of surgeries and plates and fused vertebrae and everything going on.
Yeah. But
not making an excuse.
No. Where I'm going is the more and more I thought about it, the more and more I thought multiple things. This is gonna be long-winded.
Sure.
I have a lot.
It's an important.
I've really thought about this a lot. And my biggest thought that came down today was, it wasn't like a couple weeks ago at Hayden Underhill on the podcast, and that accident that took place that killed many lives was due to an impaired driver, right? And I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't so funny after all, right? And it really isn't. And where it happened, I don't know. I did some looking up on Google Maps. Like, it is kind of 30 mile zones.
Yep.
It's the straightest roads. It's on Jupiter Island, which is a tiny little residential island, and it's happening out there. And it would be one thing if it was one time, but this is a fourth time, and the third time he almost killed himself. He's lucky he hasn't killed somebody else at this point doing all of this. And then I guess where the empathy side comes in, it's there's clearly an addiction or alleged addiction, however you want to look at this.
There's something happening.
It's been within media circles forever that it's known. Now a lot of people are going back to a lot of stuff on TGL recently where he's slurring his words. You look back to that One at Genesis, he's slurring his words. He just looks dead behind the eyes. And unfortunately, I know loosely a few people that have been addicted to painkillers, and it's dark, right?
Mhm.
It's not easy, but unless you want help, you're not going to get help, right? And for him, golf has always been his out, right? He's never been a great person. We can go through all this stuff, but Tiger Woods, the golfer, has always outweighed all this stuff, right? Now we're looking ahead to the Masters, and like, will he play? And I'm almost at the point where I think there'd be way more respect if he came out and said, "Hey, I'm not playing. I'm checking into a rehab. I'm getting help finally." Because him showing up and acting like nothing happened again, like what he did with the Hero, where he just said, "Hey, it's in the police statement," I don't think it's gonna work again. I think we need a change. He needs a change, and kind of goes back to that Bill Simmons theory too, of like with child stars. I think he calls it the Michael Jackson theory, right? Where you get so famous young that you hit an age, and that's kind of where you've stopped maturing.
Right.
And I'm seeing a lot of that. And I mean, you'd think 2 kids would change him and all of that. And I thought about like myself in that situation. I have 2 kids. I'm like, you can't be still going down. Like my life had to change when I had 2 kids. This guy's a billionaire. It might be a little different, but you know, when we're all young, we like going. I can't go at the bar on a Saturday night, every Saturday night or whatever. And it's just sad that a 50-year-old man is still making terrible decisions. However, there's clearly something seriously wrong there. And, you know, again, I'm all for a joke's a joke. It's completely separate. I'm not saying don't make jokes about it. But I think it's a lot more serious, and it's a big year where he's the face of changing the PGA Tour potentially. He's probably going to be the next Ryder Cup captain, potentially. I mean, he probably was going to be. But if this was, I don't know, name some U.S. guy that could also be captain. Let's say it was Matt Kuchar.
Yeah.
If Matt Kuchar did this, he's out.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Right? If Luke Donald did this
Phil,
on the air.
If Phil did this.
Phil's already got it. But you know what I mean? Like, but because it's Tiger, and where it comes back to is golf has always had an addiction of Tiger.
100%.
And I think as golf fans, we need to accept that that's a problem, because the guy himself needs his own help. And if you want to be addicted to that guy, and it's covered up a lot of my stuff too. Like, I'm a huge Tiger fan, the golfer, but as the person, it always was blurred, right? And I think that might be the final straw for, at least for myself and a lot of people, where it's like, all right, we need to make a change here, because we can't just throw this guy out. And, you know, we got St. Andrews next year. He's probably going to play his last Open, I would assume, maybe. I don't know. Or his last Open at St. Andrews, where he's going to stop on the bridge. I would say it's his last Open at St. Andrews. And if we just kind of throw this another one under the rug, maybe then we're the problem.
Yeah, Joseph LaMagna from Friday Golf had a good piece today where he basically said exactly what you said. You know,
I stole that.
Where, you know, and rightly or wrongly, the golfing world has had an obsession with Tiger. He was on national television at 3 years old playing golf, right? I think we all know, I think probably countless of us have seen the documentary, and none of us will have anywhere near close to an inside understanding of his upbringing and what he went through with his dad and everything like that. But, you know, the mental toll that the path in his life to now must have taken on him, and the physical as well. Somehow, you know, when we look back at the sex addiction and all of that, and he, you know, somehow he was, you know, when you look at that path from where he was to winning 2019 Masters, he was a hero. And I'm not taking that away from him, rightly so, you know. But I think, as you say, I think this is maybe an eye-opening moment where sort of like the curtain is now fully pulled back.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. I had a lot of the same feelings as you. I had empathy, sadness, a bit of anger. The empathy and empathy for him, because obviously you don't want to see this. Sadness because that was a guy that we grew up with and we idolized, golfers or not, right? Like Tiger Woods is, every person in every household in the world knows the name Tiger Woods. But then also anger, because as you say, there's jokes and stuff coming out. If someone had died last week, like, which is a very real possibility, or one of these previous other 3 times, it's serious enough as it is, but that becomes really, really serious.
Yeah, I think that's where the anger comes from, is that just knowing someone that's been through that, it's like, no, this could have been way worse.
This could have
yet
been
again. Yet again. And he's always been, the only time I think you'd ever saw vulnerability out of him was from kind of during the divorce and all of that. There was a little bit afterwards.
Well, that press conference where he stood up and admitted the sex addiction.
And I think Gary Woodland, what he just did 2 weeks after, dog's fine, 2 weeks after him coming out talking about his PTSD and all of that stuff, and then coming out and winning, made it so much better for everybody, right? You have this guy that struggled with PTSD, struggling with mental health. He even said on either Saturday or Sunday he almost had another breakdown because someone,
he did on Friday,
whatever, and he comes out and wins this week, and it's like the story's 10 times better because he accepts his, I don't want to call it shortcomings because it's a mental health issue, but you know what I mean.
It is. It accepts your
struggles.
You own it. You've got to own it. Yeah.
And I think if we get this from Tiger, and he actually, I think with the Masters being so close, it's tough because he's probably prepared so hard and he's never been told no with anything, and now it's one of those ones where someone has to say, you know what? No, like it's not that important. It's time for Tiger Woods, I don't know, 3.0, whatever you want to call it, 2.0, and go get better. And then you come back and then you win something way better. Yeah. Way better of a story. Right. And that's just never been his way. Right. Yep. And it's weird because last week before this happened, I made a joke on here that he needs his own driver. Yeah. And now it's like, maybe you just got to take the guy's fucking license away. Yeah. Right. Like how many DUIs does it take before you just can't drive? If it's more than 2, I think that's a problem. I mean, it's America.
One's a problem.
But you know what I mean? If we're doing 2, right? Like one, like a DUI should be like one of the worst days of your life. It should change your life. But when we're 3 deep, again, it's a guy that's never been told no, and anyone in his circle that pushes back has always been cut out of the circle. And if that's your moneymaker, it's got to be tough to do for all of them. So
100%.
But I don't think we need to linger. I just but I mean, again, as I said, with Gary Woodland winning this week, like if we're talking, I don't even want to give Tigers a score. No. I'm going to call it a withdraw. Yeah, withdraw, brackets seeking help is what I want to call it. I'm just calling it a withdraw for now. But, you have that story, and then Gary Woodland turns around the whole weekend. And it was like such a high of like, and he ran away with it. And I mad at myself for not thinking, the fastest club head speed on tour is going to win.
Was a perfect fit for that course. I was just going to say just the very last thing on Tiger, because I feel like we could probably wouldn't be very good entertainment, but we could probably speak about it for an hour or 2 hours. Mm-hmm. We have no idea what he's going through, but I think the thing that I would say, we are not medical professionals. Own your shit. You got to own your shit. And as you say, we're about to talk about Gary Woodland, completely different circumstances. Yeah. There's no way you can compare them. But Gary Woodland is an example of a guy who has come out, owned his shit, and not through any fault of something that he's done, right? Yeah. Something happened to him. And I just think, you got to own it, and you got to seek out the help. But to kind of switch gears a little bit into one of the coolest stories, I mean, maybe not only of the year, but of, I don't know, how many, the past decade, for Gary to come out. So for those of you who may not have known, Gary Woodland had a brain lesion, not a tumor, a brain lesion. And several years ago, he found himself constantly not just anxious, but in fear all the time.
Yeah, so
terrorized.
weirdly enough, I was doing a lesson with somebody today, and they told me they had this same brain lesion. And I guess he had looked in, and his was done through medication.
Yep.
They tried that with Gary, didn't work, so he had to have surgery.
Yep.
And I said, like, what were the effects of that?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, constantly tired, constantly, looking over your shoulder. Like, it was like so anxious at all times.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like, that's going to tire you out alone, and then just constant. And so to do that with the PGA Tour schedule is basically impossible.
Oh, I mean, the fact that he's been he had the surgery in 2023, which basically, I guess, the lesion was pushing on the part of the brain that regulates fear and anxiety.
Yep.
And so this was so bad that Gary Woodland was in hotel rooms, awakened in the middle of the night, hanging onto his mattress because he believed if he let go of the mattress, he was going to fall and die. Like that's
Terrifying.
So he had the surgery, and then, as you say, the medication, and he spoke about this on Full Swing about how, like, the medication was necessary, but it was the lesser of two evils because it just fucked him up, right? And then, as a result of this whole thing, developed PTSD and recently came out and said this. And so, to come out, the fact that he's even been playing golf the past couple of years now, knowing what he's been going through, because I think the story prior to this was like, oh, he had a brain injury, got surgery, and now he's better and he's taking some medication, right? Like, it's so much bigger than what everyone thought. And man, like Smiley Kaufman said on the broadcast, rightly so, not a dry eye in the house yesterday afternoon when he sunk that putt. And just, I don't think you could have picked a better winner from the weekend.
No.
That's going to get an eagle from me.
Yeah, hole in one.
Hole in one. I like it. 100%.
On a par 5.
Yeah. Yeah. And other good feel-good news, the brother of the better-known Matt Fitzpatrick, Alex Fitzpatrick, won on the DP World Tour.
First win, sick.
Yeah, first one on the DP World Tour. And I think a lot of people probably don't know that, Matt Fitzpatrick's brother is a extremely good golfer as well.
Yeah, caddied for Matt for a few years while just trying to make some money to get back out there. And no, very good golfer. Kind of was like a side piece in Full Swing a little bit. But yeah, awesome to see.
And this was on the hardest, I think it's the hardest course on the DP World Tour, isn't it? The course in India?
I actually have I usually watch a lot of DP World Tour. I used to call it coffee golf. I was able to do it when my kids were like young, like babies. They get up early, you lay there and awesome, have a baby on you sleeping and coffee in hand watching DP World Tour. Like, that's some of my favorite early memories. When my son was first born, we only had one, and then you don't get to do that anymore. Yeah. But I love the DP World Tour. You get these different stories, and you pick up he picks up another win, and he's going to be playing basically on the PGA Tour next year with his brother if he gets into that top 10. So that would be a sick start for the year. Yeah,
100%. And I'll put up a screenshot of it. Matt Fitzpatrick put out a legendary tweet because I guess however many years ago when Matt won his major, his brother tweeted, Matt Fitzpatrick, a major champion, how cool is that? Matt Fitzpatrick retweeted that with a picture of his brother, Alex Fitzpatrick, DP World champion. That's really, really cool. Moving on to the LPGA Tour.
Back to back.
Yeah. Lydia Ko on Thursday. And sorry, this is really bad for me because I don't actually know who ended up winning, and I should know that. But the story of the week was Lydia Ko's 60 on Thursday. One stroke away from becoming the third ever woman to shoot 59 or break 60. And actually, I was going to ask you this question because the ladies play past 72s far more frequently, I think, don't they?
Yeah, no, they do. I'm giving it a bogey not for her.
Yes.
I'm giving it a bogey because the LPGA, you would have no idea that this was happening
Absolutely
at all. There was nothing on their Twitter. There was nothing on their Instagram. There was nothing out there at all. And just a rough one. The winner was, I'm going to probably botch her name, Hojoy Kim, HJ Kim is how I'm going to, Hojoy Jo Kim. That's how it says pronunciation. I'm not great with pronunciations. Can barely do my own name. But back-to-back winner. been 30, got out on tour when she was in 2015, so you can do some math on there. 20 years old. I think this was her 9th win on tour, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. Just putting the lights out.
Yeah.
Saw some highlights today. A hot putter can get you the win. Ask Gary Woodland. Number one shot strokes gained putting last week.
Really?
So you match that with ripping the driver down the middle.
196 mile an hour ball speed.
Yeah, you're gonna pick up the win. Now, HJ, I'm just calling her HJ right now because I don't want to botch her name and I apologize. From a distance perspective, not that. But she's averaging, she's 96 on tour, which a lot of people are like, oh, she probably hits it like 230. No, the ladies they're picking up speed. 96 on tour, average driving distance is 264 yards.
Right. Okay, nice.
Like that's
getting up there.
That's good. Here's where she does better than, and this is insane. Driving accuracy, number 2 on tour at 83% of fairways.
Oh my God. That's insane.
That's absolutely insane.
And I think last year on the PGA Tour, the top was like 74%. So these ladies are hitting fairways.
She's averaging 1.65 putts on greens she hits in regulation.
That's nuts.
Rattle your brain around that.
Yeah.
Like she was draining 30 footers.
She's one putting almost every second hole.
She averages 27 putts per round. She's number 1 in putts per gur, as I mentioned. Number 1 in round one scoring average. Number 1 in birdie percentage. Number 1 in eagles. Having a year.
Just flushing it.
And
absolutely
you would have no
it.
idea because the LPGA isn't even covering their own fucking league.
Last thing I'll say on that, I think Chad Coleman is going to make a difference here. He was deep into, there was so much criticism on Twitter, and he owned it. He was responding to every single one. We're going to do better. This is not good enough. So I'm excited to see where that takes us. But yeah, to have someone on that track and just not a single thing on Twitter was anyway.
I don't think we have anything else to talk about though for the week. I think that was everything. So why don't we just
we've got James Duthie in the waiting room, but we have 3 very more important things quickly to cover off. First of all, after all the shit you spoke last week, I'm back on the bandwagon, and I didn't win that much money, but it doesn't matter because Taylor Pendrith, our boy, God bless his soul, love him to death, had your boy had a shocker. +7, missed the cut. My boy Potgieter kind of ran out of steam, but a T20 was good enough. I took the cut and ran. So before we get to this week's picks, which will be our last thing before we bring James Duthie in, you got to read a statement. You got a little thing to read here.
I do.
So
send me my statement.
So if you want to go down, if you're on the dock right now, if you go to the tab, there's a statement tab at the bottom, and I'll word for word, please. I'll hand this over to you.
All right. Hello.
You can look at the camera actually.
How am I going to read and look at the camera?
That's fair. I should have put a teleprompter up.
Yeah. Amateur production. Hello, everyone. Stefan here from Sandbagger Sessions.
Sorry, let's stop.
I'm in mourning.
I want some feeling behind it.
Seriously.
I want some feeling behind it. Okay, start again.
What the fuck is this? Drama class? Hello, everybody. Stefan here from Sandbagger Sessions. As you all know, I'm a PGA of Canada golf professional. I've spent the better part of a decade immersed in this sport, studying it, teaching it, breathing it. I've built my entire professional identity around golf. And I am currently losing a fake money competition to a product manager from a company that shall not be named, who thinks a handicap of 3.5 makes him some kind of authority. It does not, but even then, I can't even come close to beating him. The uncomfortable truth is, I coach golf because playing it has humbled me in ways I'm not yet ready to fully discuss publicly. Okay. Every lesson I give is, in some small way, a coping mechanism. My students are thriving, my own game is cooked, and my picks are cooked. Man, this is actually very accurate. Cole is always, I'm wrong here. Okay, Cole is always right. I am always wrong. I want that permanently on the record. If you are using my picks to inform any kind of decision, financial, recreational, otherwise, please stop immediately. You're better off asking someone who has never watched golf. You're better off asking Cole's dog. At this point, I would genuinely trust the dogs. Cole has the knowledge. Cole has the points, the money, and my dignity. I trust him with my life. I will now return to doing what I do best, telling other people how to play golf while quietly shooting an 84 by myself on a Tuesday. There's a lot of untruth here. And I have a follow-up for you.
You don't get a follow-up.
I have a follow-up. Now, I did mention James Duthie being my friend.
Yeah.
I talk about all these people I have on my phone.
Sure, yeah.
I have somebody on my phone I haven't even told you about.
Okay. Wow.
And they're very high up in Canada, and everyone knows who this person is. And I reached out to them and I said, listen, what Cole had to say about Taylor Pendrith, I'm offended by it, and I just want to know your thoughts. And I have a statement if you do give me
this is bullshit. Sure, but I mean, you put me on the spot now.
Okay, so
are you going to say who it is?
Just let me finish.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen of Sandbagger Sessions, Canadians take great pride in supporting our own, whether it's on the world stage, in our communities, or on the fairways of professional golf. It has come to my attention that an individual identified as Cole Atkinson, alleged host of Sandbagger Sessions podcast, has demonstrated a troubling lack of enthusiasm for Taylor Pendrith, one of Canada's premier golfing talents. While Canada is a nation that celebrates diversity of thought, we must also acknowledge that cheering against, or worse, failing to cheer for our athletes during key moments raises serious questions about national alignment. As such, I have directed the appropriate departments to conduct a thorough review of Cole's citizenship status. Let me be clear, this process will be carried out with the utmost fairness, transparency, and seriousness. Canadians deserve nothing less. Taylor, Stefan's close personal friend, deserves nothing less. In the meantime, I encourage all citizens to rally behind Taylor Pendrith and all Canadian athletes, because if we can't agree on that, what are we even doing here? A message for Mr. Atkinson. What you said about Mr. Pendrith is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this country is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have more mercy on your soul. I want to thank Stefan for bringing this atrocity to my direct attention. This mindset of see something, say something is important to the security of Canada and the pride of our people. And as Prime Minister, I will always do what it takes to protect our country from people who want to destroy it like Cole. I stand on guard for thee, Prime Minister Mark Carney.
Oh, fuck.
That is
well done. That is legit from Mark Carney. I believe you. I believe you.
So,
oh, well, I mean, I might cut the rebuttal out. You don't get a rebuttal. Well done, though. Well done.
Thank you.
Let's. Should we very quickly do the picks, because we've got James waiting.
Yeah, is it May 1st?
Yeah, you get the first pick this week. So Valero Texas Open, the final event before. I'm just going to say it, the premier major of the year, the opening major of the year. But Valero this week, who have you got?
Tommy Fleetwood.
Oh, okay. Just going straight out with it.
Just no stats, no nothing. Just give me Tommy.
Okay, cool. I'm taking a bit of a punt this week as well. I got a bit of breathing room to play with. I didn't actually win that much money last week, but I'm still in front of you by almost $2 million. I'm going
Allegedly.
with a guy who had 8 straight birdies in the final round last year. Almost went into a playoff with Akshay Bhatia, and that's Steven Yeager.
Okay.
So I'm going out on a limb there. It could. This is a bit of a David v. Goliath battle, but this will be a good one.
I almost forfeited my pick this week just to not lose. Yeah.
I mean, as you said, the Dogs probably have a better chance.
I guess so. And as Mark Carney said, we are looking into your citizenship status. So,
alrighty, everyone. Our next guest for this week, extremely excited for who we're about to introduce to you. Ottawa-born, nationally beloved, our next guest has spent nearly 30 years at TSN hosting some of the biggest events in sports. You'll know his name, NHL and TSN, the Masters, World Juniors, Grey Cup, the Super Bowl. If it matters, this guy is the one in the chair.
All right.
He was there for Sidney Crosby's Golden Goal in Vancouver. He was just at Milano Cortina for one of the most watched Olympic hockey tournaments ever played. We won't talk about that result. Off the desk, he's a 5-time best-selling author. His latest Certified Beauties hit the shelves in 2025. His trophy shelf includes 8 Canadian Screen Awards. I knew you'd be laughing at this. Best sports host in a sports program in 2018, 3 Geminis, spot in the Ottawa Sport Hall of Fame, and the actual key to the city of Ottawa. Somehow, Steph got him to come and talk to us today, and that is Mr. James Duthie from TSN. James, thank you so much for coming.
Steph, why does it take a guy from New Zealand to write a proper intro for me?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. And the first question I have for you, because if the answer to this is no, the episode's over. Would you consider yourself a friend of Stefan's, James?
Yes, I would.
Oh, thank God.
For the content, I should have said no, or Stefan who.
I probably would just get up.
Yeah. Well, we've got an episode now, so thank goodness
there we
for
go.
that.
We do have an interview. Well, James, I'm glad you're on the pod. Thank you for that. I do owe you $5 for saying we are friends. My first and most important question is, I don't think I know anyone that plays more golf than you. With your insane schedule, have you already played golf?
I have gotten in 9 rounds.
In Canada?
Play my 10th on Wednesday. No, I played 5, 6. I've only played 2 in Canada. So went down to Turks and Caicos and got a few rounds in down there. So I just looked at the Golf Canada app today because those rounds count, which was a big mistake. I forget those rounds count against your cap, and I really sucked down there. So I think I went on vacation and left a 7.6 and came back at 10.4 or something like that.
Oh, Sandbagger
Sessions, right there. There we go.
That was a disaster. But I have played 2 in Canada. I'll shout out Dragon's Fire. Not that it's not an advertisement because I pay full freight there. I mean, they could help a guy out, but they don't. But
you're struggling.
Do you guys know what Dragon's Fire is?
Yeah, it's in Hamilton, and people are like, should we go down and play it? And I tell me if I'm wrong, but during the summer, if you go and play there, give yourself 7 hours because it is a long round of golf out there.
It's a long walk, first of all. I only go there. I really literally go there at the beginning of the season and the end of the season. No offense to the golf course. It's just too long a drive for me, but it's always the first one open. Barry at Copetown Woods is usually close, but and I think he's coming soon, so I'll always go to Copetown. And then there's one in Aurora called St. Andrews Valley that opens up soon, which is 5 minutes from my house. So I'll go there a lot until the courses I play at are open. But Dragon's Fire always seems to be the first, and I give it credit. It's shockingly, I think it's been open for 2 weeks, and I was there, I don't know, Thursday and Sunday or something, and it's just remarkable for how bad a winter we had, how dry it is and playable. The greens were fine, fairways were fine, and it was actually like playing golf. But I am psycho. You're right, Steph. I'll play till the bitter end, and as soon as it starts, I'll always have rounds in March, and I'll hopefully have rounds in late November or December. As long as it's no frost, if it's 2 or 3 degrees, and I hate rain. Besides that, I'm fine.
Yeah. So you're 9 rounds, or how many rounds do you get in a summer or in a season?
It's can I guess? I'm thinking last year you played 120.
I got to whisper because my wife's around, and I always tell her I play 30.
Okay, so it's over 30.
He's looking it up. I know he's looking it up right now.
I'm looking it up right now. App's a little slow in my office. I think it was 100. So I got 112 in here.
Okay,
that's tracked.
That's 112 tracked, but I would play every Sunday night with my wife. So there's probably another, but I would only play 9, and I would never track it because it's a comedy show playing with her, not because of her abilities, but it's just I can't play normal golf with my wife. We're just
we've all felt like that.
Oh, we just lost a subscriber. Brooks, he just unsubscribed.
God. No, she's wonderful, but she's a lot on the golf course. So it's that would be an extra 10. And then there's probably a couple tourneys and scrambles that don't go in there. So it's whatever you said is probably right. It's probably 125, 130 probably.
That's a decent clip.
I have buddies though that get. I have this one buddy. He is retired, but he played 330 last year.
In Canada?
I mean, he went a couple of trips to Ireland and stuff, but he literally is retired and plays every day and often 36 a day. So I know a lot of psychos. There's a lot. I think honestly, there's more diehards in Canada than there are in the States. And maybe it's just because our season is short. And I see it at the Masters every year. There's so many Canadians down at the Masters. And, some of the golf pods I listen to, like yours, there's so many, even the American golf pods, you'll always hear that they have tons of Canadian listeners, right? Because I think we're a nation of psychos, and
That's true.
we can handle playing in odd conditions. So I wasn't always like this, by the way. I mean, I had 3 kids in 4 years, and so like any dad, you go through that phase where it's just not logistically possible to play a lot of golf. So I went through a 15-year, 15 to 20-year window where I played 7, 8 rounds a year. And then when my kids whenever that was, like 6, 7 years ago, when my kids were, adults and going to university and such, that's when I started to become a true psycho. And I think I always loved the game, but I went cuckoo for the game, I'd say, 6, 7, 8 years ago, as far as my playing.
That's why I quit my job and went back into golf. So anytime I go golf, it's work, honey. I'm working. I'm
Yeah,
working.
that's what I say when I go to the Masters or when I'm playing before the Masters. I'm researching. I'm trying to get into the player mindset
Smart.
so
Yeah.
I can
I
say
like that.
smart things.
Yeah.
So when did you start playing golf, James? Tell me your history of golf with golf. Sorry.
Well, I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll tell you. It's not like a sexy origin story. My dad never played golf. I think he only played once in his life, and he went with me. We played in Tweed, and I think he only did it for me. He was horrendous. I can still remember, just like horrendous. But
Tweed,
it was
Ontario?
Tweed, Ontario. There was a little
There's a
9-hole
golf course there?
There was a golf course called Poplar, I
Okay,
believe.
yeah, Poplar's still there. Okay, yeah.
And that's where we played. And, yeah, I just have this vague memory. It was a cold, miserable day, and we played with another son and dad, and my dad was horrendous, but, you only realize it when you're a dad why he was out there, just to hang out with me, and he knew I liked it. I was probably 13, 14 years old. So the first thing I ever had, I only had a putter. I had a best friend named Mark Ward who unfortunately passed away last summer, but we had nothing to do in the summer when we were like 8 years old, 9 years old. And so our moms would drive us to the Innis Road mini golf in Blackburn Hamlet, outside of Ottawa. And they would just leave us there for like 7 hours. And so it was one of these mini putts that at the end had like the little free game thing. So if you putted the ball into this machine, and if you putted it at the right pace, then it went into like a free game thing. And we figured out how to do that. So we would get endless free games, and we would play literally 10 rounds of mini golf and count everything and compete against each other. So I'm a pretty decent putter, and I literally attribute it all to that. I haven't really taken a putting lesson. I hung out with Ralph Bauer earlier this year and took my first ever sort of half putting lesson, because I've been going since that mini golf, and it was only my only good part of the game. So that were the origins. And then, I think I probably got my first little set of mini clubs maybe when I was 15 or so. And the same guy, Mark Ward, we didn't have much money. Neither of our families played golf. So there was a course called Pine View Municipal Golf Course. Shout out to Pine View in Gloucester. They won't be happy with me after they hear this, but I would wake up at 4:00 in the morning in the summer. This is probably after maybe in grade 8 or something. I would walk through the dark, like the 15 minutes to Mark's house. I would throw rocks at his window to wake him up. He would come down. We would get on the OC Transpo bus to Pine View. There was a bus stop right outside the golf course, and we would sit on the first tee in the dark, waiting for the sun to go up. As soon as the sun came up, we would hit. And our theory was, if we got through 9 holes before like 6:30, 6:45, nobody in the pro shop would be in yet. So you had to walk past the pro shop after 9 to get to 10T. And then when you got off 18, the bus stop was right there. So we would never pay. And I think we sort of theorized in our minds that we weren't really doing anything illegal, that if the course wasn't open, anybody could be on there, even though we knew it was probably not right. So we probably played 20 times over a couple of summers doing that, and never paid at Pine View. And that was our baptism to golf. And we were ruthlessly bad and teed it up on the fairways and did all those stupid things that kids do. Probably took a gazillion mulligans, but that's probably where I fell in love with the game. I wish I'd have taken lessons, so it would cured a lot of the problems probably the hangups that I still have from those days at Pine View. But that's how I fell in love with it.
No, you don't need less. You just buy new clubs, right, Steph? That's what fixes the game.
As a fellow TaylorMade staffer, James and I aren't paying for golf clubs. Our sponsor is bringing us our golf clubs. Yes.
I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, let's face it, as much as Nick and the guys at TaylorMade are awesome to me, obviously I'm on television and that helps them. And I go on podcasts like this. When I quit work and I'm irrelevant again to the world, I don't know what it's going to be like for me if I have to go buy a set of golf clubs. It's going to be very strange.
Well, I'll be looking for a new co-host by then. So,
hey, well, Cole will be sick of your ass, and he'll be back in New Zealand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got year-round golf. There we go.
So speaking of lessons, I was listening to Overdrive the other day, and again, you've talked to me about
what were they
Jeff O'Neill makes up a bunch of stuff. But what I was told on that broadcast was recently on I don't know if it was a Leafs game, during the entire period you were on your phone looking at your own golf swing. Does this mean we are working with a coach throughout the winter to work on your golf swing, or was there zero legitimacy? I'm not even trying it again. Zero
legitimacy.
Yeah, legitimacy.
He's probably right. Well, it doesn't help. I mean, let's face it. There's not much to do during Leaf games right now.
Oh yeah,
no, there's
not like we're in a playoff race, so there might be some time killing going on. He's probably right, and that's very rare for O-Dog to be telling the truth, because 95% of the stuff that comes out of his mouth is absolutely made up in fantasy. But I do that, and I do spend some time in the sim and shoot my swing a lot. Like sometimes I'll just leave the camera on for the entire hour sim session and forget. And then when am I going to watch that whole thing? It's the stupidest thing ever.
Apparently during Leafs games.
Probably full. When you get those stupid Apple notifications to buy more memory, it's probably because I have 4,000 hours of golf swings in there, which is probably the stupidest thing you could do, because you get caught up in aesthetics and such instead of worrying about how you hit the ball. But I'll shout out a bunch of guys. So I mean, there's God.
Which before you do, always a great sign when you're working with 10 different coaches at once. You're usually going to get really good information that matches each other's videos. Plus the YouTube videos, the guys on Instagram. That should go over well. But why don't you shout all the guys out so they find out you're cheating on each one of them?
I won't do that right now.
I mean, you did mention Ralph earlier. From a putting perspective.
Ralph helped me out. Ralph's a guru. For anybody listening who doesn't know, Ralph's like a putting guru and a chipping guru. And I was down in Hamilton, and Ralph was kind enough to help me out a little with the thing I like about Ralph. He's so just simple, and everything that he does is just makes a lot of sense. And for a guy who coaches pros, I think he coaches Cam Davis and a bunch of guys. He's really good. I don't know if you know Gianfranco Guida, who's at my course, King's Riding. He's awesome. James, I'm going to forget James's last name because we're buddies. He helps me out. Almost qualified for the Canadian Open last year. But this year I want to shout out a guy. So I was not taking lessons this year. I was just banging it around, but I do follow a million guys on Instagram. And I got a message one day from this guy named Danny Lampy, and just a guy that I follow. And he says, hey, how's your game going? And I'm like, what are you DMing me for? Like, I follow you. And he said, just if you need any help. And so I said, well, you know what, you DM me, so let's do it. Let's get it on a lesson. So I get on with him, and I'm like, Danny, where are you? Like, where are you? Down in Southern Ontario? What part of Ontario are you in? He goes, oh no, I'm in Germany. So it just shows you the world of golf. So Danny was just a German pro who somehow, I guess, noticed that I followed him on Twitter, and I took a few lessons with Danny, who was awesome. And sorry, the one other guy I got to shout out, but I got to find it. He was teaching one of the woman influencers about short game, and it was the same sort of philosophy where I really struggle. I'll be candid, and anybody who plays with me, like, I think I'm about like a 6 or 7 off the tee and like a 5-6 iron game and a good putter and about a 25 chipping and pitching. And
I would say that was accurate based on when we played.
well,
this guy didn't miss a fairway, but
this guy was essentially teaching a very similar thing to what we're talking about, but pitching where you're sort of aimed a little bit right and your face is pointing right, but at the last second, if you can imagine Tiger when Tiger tries to do like not even the draw, but like the big huge hook, where his arms and shoulders just go way left.
Mhm.
So this guy was teaching this girl to do that on your pitches, just to sort of have your shoulders and arms going way left as your face was going right, and that I was in the sim for an hour and then out at on the round I played the other day. I don't know, for one round anyway. I know how these things work, that sometimes thoughts can work for a couple of rounds and disintegrate. But this made so much sense to me, and I think it got me. I tend to hang back a little bit. It got me going forward and getting the club around, and I was hitting it better than I've ever hit it. So I'm very excited.
Nice.
I wish I could give
Love
this guy credit, but I can't find him on my Instagram.
I think it's Stefan Tiedorf on Instagram. You can follow me, find me there. So I think James doesn't follow me on there. That's fine.
Do I not follow you on Instagram? I'm sorry. I'm really bad at this stuff, so I will follow you after. Like Bob McKenzie one time was like, "Hey, why you're not following me on Twitter right now?" And I'm like, "What? you're my best friend and our most important reporter." But sometimes when you have fat thumbs, you'll unfollow people by mistake, and then because you're not looking for them, you don't realize that you're missing them.
Oh, the old honey. I wasn't following her. Like I don't know what happened.
I wasn't following her, huh?
Yeah, that was not me.
It happened.
Yeah. Well, I gotta start a new one.
Oh God. We are like you spoke about your own golf game, James, but obviously, we're in the lead up to arguably, one of the most important tournaments of the year. So you'll be heading down, no doubt. And so we all know the lore of Augusta, but what is something when you go to Augusta that is like you don't see on TV? Like you just can't get a grasp of it, whether it's behind the curtain or just something that doesn't come up on the cameras. What's it like?
Josh Park, by the way, J Park Golf. That was
Okay.
I got to shout him out because he's changed my life. J Park Golf.
J Park.
Josh
Okay.
Park. Well, I think that there's so many things. Well, I think the neatest thing about it is that, well, first of all, generally speaking, there are so many places in the world that get so hyped up and by Instagram or whatever, and then you visit them and it's kind of a letdown a little bit, right? And Augusta's the one place where I've never met anybody, as high as expectations are when you go there, that's been disappointed. They all think it's better than it is. And I'm not sure why that is, but it's like a world. I always tell people it's kind of like the Truman Show, that they've created this sort of fake world that only exists there. And I remember the first time I went, when you grow up in suburban Ottawa, you have no idea. I always imagine you'd like go drive down these winding country roads full of these Georgia pines and you just come across Magnolia Lane. That in my stupid brain, that's what I was thinking. And
They
instead,
drive by Hooters.
Augusta's kind of a seedy town, and there's this strip. I don't think I'm not sure if the Hooters is there anymore, but it's like the seediest American strip with a Hooters. And basically right behind it is Augusta National. You would never know driving down that drive. All of a sudden you come across Magnolia Lane. Now slowly Augusta's buying up half the town. And they sort of expanding their footprint there. But when you enter there, it is like you've just entered this completely different country or planet where everything is perfect and nothing's out of place. And obviously because nobody has any phones, it's a weird,
Is
it's
that part of it? Like the no phones, it makes people just more aware of everything.
People are all just talking. It's a very, where else in literally the entire world can you go right now where there's 30,000 people just talking and no one with a phone?
Yeah, one of the coolest podcasts I listened to last year from the Masters, No Laying Up did a audio from the ground one, and it was just the KVV, who's one of my favorite golf journalists all
Yeah.
time, and Neil
Neil.
from No Laying Up, and they just had a recorder and they're just talking to people, and they had Rory's shot and it's live reaction. And again, if you have phones, everyone's gets on their phone
Yeah.
texting their buddy right in that moment versus this random stranger beside them.
Well, look at every PGA tournament, every background at like the NCAA tournament going on right now. Almost everybody's got their phones out for the moment, and that's what makes it special. And the other thing I would say is, in most places, what you see on TV might be perfect, but behind the scenes would be a mess. I tend to use Disney World as an example because you're in Disney World, as a kid, it's amazing. Everything's this fantasy land. But if you were to walk, 50 yards backstage, Winnie the Pooh's got his hat off smoking a joint, right?
Yeah.
That's because I've had the back tour lots of Disney, so it's a little different. Whereas at Augusta, the stuff you don't see on camera is just as perfect. Like the cart that takes us into the media center every day, you're going past every little cabin is perfect. And apparently they have a zero budget on landscaping, which means there's no budget. You do whatever it takes to make it perfect in there. And
Wow.
so every hedge and every tree and every flower is absolutely perfect, even behind the scenes.
Mhm.
And it never gets old for me going back there. The media building, and they pop up these new buildings every year. This year they have a player services building, which brand new, is supposed to be spectacular. The new media building, which came up maybe 6-7 years ago now, and you leave Augusta one year, and a year later there's a building there that looks like the White House, and inside is immaculate, and there's 100-foot high trees around it. I have no idea where they get them, and it was a parking lot the year before. I don't know how you transplant like 200-year-old trees, but they somehow do it at Augusta National. So I think that's the greatest thing to me, is that just you feel like you've stepped into another world for the time that you're on the grounds.
When you're there, when you go in, two questions. Where are you guys actually located on the grounds? And with the cell phone stuff, as media, are you able to have it, but just in a certain location, I assume?
Yeah, it's really tricky. So we moved a few years ago. We were really lucky. One of the things that we did, we went during COVID. We were I think the first Canadian TV crew to cross over into the States. We had to take
Yeah,
a
I
week's
remember you
worth of
telling me
tests
about
and
it.
isolate, and then we took a bus down there. And Augusta's they're great in that they're old school in the way they really value relationships. It's not just about, the dollars you spend on rights and everything. And so I remember I guess somebody else didn't go, and we went, and we used to our set used to be on the par 3 course, which is kind of behind the Augusta National course. And whoever was in the middle, I think it was one of the European stations, they basically booted them out of there because they didn't come, and they put us in there. So our set is right next to the chipping green off the driving range. So we are we have ESPN on one side of us and Golf Channel on the other side. And maybe there might be one other Sky Sports or somebody there, but there's only like 3 or 4 networks that have that privilege, and TSN is one of them. So that's
Wow.
very cool when we're sitting on our set, and you look over and the guys at Golf Channel are there, and like, or on the weekends Mike Tirico's there and Scott Van Pelt's on the other side of us, and us little clowns from Canada are right in the middle. So we're right in the driving range. It's it's a 5-minute walk to get on the golf course, but the actual media center is on the other side of the road. So you go through a tunnel to sort of get there. So there's a little bit of walking and a lot of golf carting around because as I said, the facilities get larger and larger there. But man, it's a really cool spot. To answer your question about the phones, so we can bring our phones with us, and on set, like, we can't be out there taking pictures or anything like that. Once in a while, if I'll sort of try to, you know, leave the set, and if I desperately have to check our phones, because we are trying to do a TV show and have to communicate with each other.
Mhm.
But we're definitely not even, we can't go on the course with our phones.
Yeah.
We'll lose our credentials just the way that patrons would get kicked out if they're found there. They're extremely strict with it. And
Yeah.
it does make it really hard to cover the tournament when you have
Yeah.
no phone, right?
Yeah.
That is the one thing. Like, I love the Masters, but like, let's say last year, I was able to walk the front nine with Rory, but by the back nine, when it's close like that, I got to go back and watch it on TV because we're about to do an hour post show, and I won't know what happened.
If you miss
Right?
something, yeah.
Yeah, it's very difficult as a fan to really follow the tournament. You hear the roars, and it's kind of cool that if you're near a scoreboard, you sit and stare at the scoreboard for 10 minutes waiting for a guy to change the number and see what happened, which is
Yeah.
really neat, but it's kind of crazy in 2026 that that's the way you're watching a golf tournament. So,
Which
Yeah,
is
it is.
sick, though.
It is. I remember watching
yeah.
the coverage last year because I want to get it in a second. Like, last year's tournament, Rory's win, but yeah, I remember that they had the camera view when Rory absolutely made a mess of what par five. He doubled the par five,
13.
and
13.
everyone on 18, yeah, they're just sitting there, and the 7 comes up, and you just see and hear the crowd go, oh,
Yeah.
But it probably happened, 2 minutes prior to that. It's crazy. Like,
It's so
yeah.
electric, though. It's
Yeah.
so electric when you hear those roars and you're wondering what it is. And Steph, the No Laying Up pod, I think did a great job of this, of just how words sort of goes through the crowd.
Mhm.
And the on-course reporters are very popular because last year when I walked, Rory doubled somewhere, maybe 3 or 4 or something, and or maybe 2 or maybe 1. I think he doubled
one.
one.
He doubled
Yes,
one,
he
yeah.
doubled one. So I watched him hit his approach on 1, and then I wanted to get ahead and get down by 2 because of the crowds. And again, being the media, you don't get any special seating. So
Mhm.
myself and my producer Puffy, we walked ahead, and we were somewhere halfway down 2, and people were saying, do you know what happened to Rory on 1? Because you could hear some groans. And then I think the BBC or Sky Sports reporter walked by and it's like, he doubled. And I'm like, he doubled. And other people are like, and you can hear the broken telephone. He doubled going through the crowd, right? And that's constant when you're at the Masters is, hey, do you know what, especially if they recognize you for Canada, hey, do you know how Corey's doing?
Yep.
I heard Corey eagled, 8 or whatever so that kind of stuff is really neat, but it's like I say, it feels like you're in a different century.
Mhm.
And that's got to be weird for you because, like, I know as you as a person, you're not the guy that's like, oh, I'm James Duthie, I'm walking in here. But when you're covering things, you're one of the biggest names in media in Canada. But down there, you could be anybody at the Masters, right? Versus all these other faces. Like, is it different for you going through that experience, knowing from the hockey coverage to there, even though it's such a big event that it's like you mentioned, the Canadians, like it's like I guess we have to invite them type of deal. Is it different when you're walking through the crowds there, or is there a lot of Canadians that I'm recognizing?
No, it's great. And look, it's not like I'm some massive thing here where I get it's not like I'm Justin Bieber or something when I'm going through crowds in Canada. And Canadians are so polite anyway. Like the only place where you really get a lot of people is, World Juniors or something like that. Even at a Leafs game per se, people recognize you obviously, and the odd person wants to take a picture with you. But like, it's what grade celebrity is the Canadian cable sportscaster somewhere around Y or Z? But I like it because there's so many Canadians down there, and everyone, Canadians are the best when it comes. Everyone will just come up and say hi or whatever and tell you where they're from. But I'm always amazed every year at how many Canadians there are down at the Masters. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. As a Kiwi, it's one of the reasons why I love Canada so much. I feel like that's a similarity. Like if you're a Kiwi and you go to Australia or you go somewhere like that and you see another, you're like, doesn't matter who it is. You're like, hey, and I feel like Canadians are kind of the same.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
Yeah.
So you've been covering the Masters a long time, and then we'll get into some other stuff after. It's kind of a two-parter, but like at what point leading up to it does the excitement start to build up? Like obviously you're a golf sicko, so I'm sure it was May last year, but like leading up right now, I'm sure you're deep into prep and everything, but when does it really start to hit? Like, okay, I'm heading down, I guess what, Monday you're heading down? Sunday, right? So you're ready to roll, but like I'm sure the excitement's leading up for at least a month prior.
Yeah. Pretty much as soon as I got home from the Olympics, I started to think about it. But I have had, because I do a few different sports, like I'm doing soccer right now. Canada's got 2 friendlies. One, when we're taping this, one is tomorrow night, one on the weekend, and obviously doing some World Cup prep too, which is kind of big thing coming to Canada this summer. So, and then I got a Leafs game on Thursday. So I have a few other things to think about. So
You can skip that. Cole
Yeah.
will go host.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me a shot.
Yeah. Do you hear his intro?
That was my job interview.
It's funny when whenever I go away, I'll miss the Leafs game next week at the Masters, and Lindsay Hamilton hosts. And as soon as she hosts, I just get like 100 messages from people saying, "Please don't ever come back." I don't blame them.
Yeah.
But I start getting, to me, the Masters, and I think you guys probably feel the same way. It's not just the Masters, which is amazing, but I think the Masters week represents so much. Again, and maybe this ties back to what I was talking about with Canadians. It it, it kind of, to me, Masters week signifies the end of winter, right? Golf courses are starting to open or just around the corner in Canada. The NHL playoffs are starting and are about to start, and the summer and all the good times are ahead. And that's, I think, all part of it to me, that when I was a kid, or even before I went there in my 20s, when I sat down to watch the Masters, there was so many good times ahead, right? Spring's coming, summer's coming, all that. And so I really do think that plays into it and plays into our love for it, besides the fact that it's just my favorite tournament to do. So yeah, it's I'll be pumped though from the second we get there. And it's funny, it's not like we do work super long hours. It's not a vacation down there. We're at the course 8 a.m. every day. We don't leave till usually 8 or 9 at night. And we do this bonus coverage, which is 4 or 5 hours live Thursday to Sunday, and then a post show. But it's the funnest work that I think I do all year. You're still tired and it's still exhausting and everything like that, but I just love it.
At
What else?
what point?
I just watching the Masters anyway, so I might as well be and telling
At
people.
what point do you? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off twice. At what point do you start thinking about the media draw?
Last few years I haven't thought about it, because I when I won in, I think, 15.
So can you explain it to Cole? I don't know if even Cole's aware of how this works.
So every year, I don't know the exact number, I think about 20 people get picked to play on the Monday. And it's amazing. There's Sunday pins and you get a caddy, and it's just the full treatment. So I didn't win my first, 2-3 years covering it. But for whatever reason, in 2015, I had a really good feeling, because everyone on our crew if you win, you can't play again. You can't go back in the draw for 7 years. And everybody on our crew had won. And, I don't know how many media people there are at the Masters. Let's just say for fun, there's 1,000. Not a lot, there's probably half of them don't play golf, right? They're tech guys that work for CBS or whatever. And so you get down to 400 people that put their name in the lottery. You can only win once you win. You can't play for 7 years. Quickly, your odds get better and better. And for whatever, I think that was only the second year I brought my clubs. And Bob had won. Weeksy had won, I think, just the year before, after 20 years. Sean Cameron and Jamie Rydell, our producers, won together 1 year. So basically everybody on the crew had won. And I just had a really good feeling about it for whatever reason. And on the Sunday morning, we were in the media center, and there's a guy who kind of runs it, who wears a green jacket. And he walked into our room, and I knew right away as soon as he walked in, because he hadn't really said a word to me the entire time there. And he said, "Hey, James, you got any plans on Monday?" And he hands you this envelope, which, beautifully written invitation to show up on Magnolia Lane on Monday morning at whatever it was, 8:30.
Do you still have that?
Huh? Oh yeah, I definitely have it. I've told this story before, so anybody who's heard it, I apologize. But so everybody leaves. My crew has to go catch a plane, and I had to, you have to change your flight plans. And I'm in our rental house in the morning, can't sleep, 5:00 in the morning, and just putting across the hardwood floor. And then I reach in my golf bag, and back then I wasn't as crazy as I am for golf now. That was still sort of the end of my fatherhood responsibility days. And so I would finish playing golf mid-October and put the clubs in the garage and not pull them down until the season opened at the end of April. And so literally I did that. My clubs were still dusty and I just threw them in a bag and brought them. So I reached into my bag and I only had one golf ball in my bag. And I literally freaked out. And so I get in the cab and I'm like, is there anything open? She said, the only thing open's a Walmart. So she takes me to Walmart and all they had was Top Flight Hot XL. And so I went to Augusta National with a dozen Top Flight Hot XLs, which is
They didn't have, you couldn't buy balls there.
No. So the pro, like I didn't know if you could or not. And it turns out I think it wasn't open. But so you get a locker in the Champions locker, which is amazing. The Champions locker room, by the way, really cool, but completely different than I thought. It's like the original locker room. So it's very small. And so the Champions have now had to like double up, right? So there's, I don't know who's with who, like Jordan Spieth is with Jack and Tiger's with Arnie or whatever. And I think they give you a locker. I think I had Fuzzy Zeller's locker. I can't remember who he was with, but it's a very tiny room. There's only like one bathroom stall and one shower. And all I could envision was like the end of the day at the Masters when, back in the day with like Arnie and Jack and Lee Trevino and Tiger all lined up with towels wrapped around their waist, waiting for their 3 minutes in the shower or to go in the shitter. So I just found that, I don't know why my mind went there, but you get to the range and all the caddies are lined up. Let's say if there's 20 people playing, there's 20 caddies lined up in their whites. And wherever stall you take, that's your caddy. So I grabbed a stall and sort of shook my hand, said hi to my caddy. And obviously the balls on the range are Pro Vs with the Augusta logo on them. So I kind of reached down and picked one up and looked at it. And I kind of looked at my caddy. He knew exactly what I was doing. So he just he rolled his eyes and just turned around. And I just piled about 20 of them into my bag. So I ended up playing with practice balls during the round with Augusta logos on them. But it was Bob Weeks had told me this. He said it will be the fastest round of your life because you won't want it to end. And that was very, very true. It just went by in a heartbeat. And you play the club tees, which I think they're very similar to where Tiger won in 97, but nowadays
like 66, 65, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Not too long, 68 maybe, yeah.
There's some, I don't even think it's that long, and probably 65 or something like that, because there was holes like 11, the pro tee was 140 yards back of us.
Yeah.
But it was very cool because you would end up, as a sort of average guy with me, if you hit a drive like 240, you'd kind of end up where they are. So almost on every hole, you had like similar distances into what they would have if you hit a decent shot. And so that was really cool because I kept saying, oh, this is exactly where I won the year that Spieth hit 2 in the water on 12 and even went down there and saw
Danny Willett.
Saw the divots. Yeah, the Danny Willett year. Like I literally went over and I was, I thought in my head, you can't get near 12 as a patron or media member. And even without watching that on TV, I said, man, it must have been a horrible angle or something, right? And as I said, I had demons with 60-yard chips, so I kind of fell for them. But when I went down there, like a perfect lie, maybe the best short game player in that time in the world, right? It's still one of the top 3 or 4. And I don't know how he did that. It's just the pressure of Augusta to hit that is second in the water there is insane. But yeah, so it's just an amazing, amazing, amazing day. You'll ask me what I shot. I 3-putted. Now, one thing is I played really legit. I said to myself that day, I'm not going to take any stupid mulligans. I really want to know what I can shoot at Augusta National. I'm going to putt everything in. I shot 92 and I made a 10 on 10. I hit
a
drive to the woods, chipped out of the woods, hit a crappy iron, so I was still like 180 out, hit an iron into a bush to the right of the green, never see on television. It's so bad. It's all right. It was funny. Rory, like a few years later, Rory hit one in the bush there. And I was watching on, back in the thing. I'm like, hey, my bush. That's my bush.
The Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
Exactly. That was the Leo meme. And so I actually played pretty well. I 3-putted a bunch of times too. Like if I'd cut my 3 putts in half, let's say let's say I just made a bogey on that hole, I would have shot like 80 or 78 or something. But very playable golf course, what I tell everybody. And a lot of, guys who I know who are decent golfers have played well in that round because of the short tees, and it's fairly wide open. It's all about, like they say on TV, the spots. On all I laid up on all the par fives, and I didn't hit great approaches. I hit all 4 greens, I think. But I missed on 2, but let's say 13, 15. Laid up on both to like 100, but I missed like the spot that the caddy told me to hit, and you would end up 50 feet away with just a nasty pin and almost an impossible 2-foot putt for somebody of my ability. So that was the thing that I found really, really hard. And I didn't find like everyone said, oh, the greens are crazy hard. Yeah, they're super fast. They're perfect. But the caddies would give you perfect lines, and they're as pure as you want. So I didn't find them hard that way. I would just hit like a really good putt, and it would roll 8 feet by, and I was too nervous and kept missing like comebackers and stuff. So I'd like to get another crack. My 7 years is over. I'm debating whether to bring the clubs this year, because it just seems
you gotta
like
bring them.
Yeah, you got to take him in.
like traveling with the clubs these days and the way.
Maybe we're your good luck charm. Maybe it's like a bump that.
Yeah, maybe. I'm definitely thinking about it, but I don't know.
Yeah. Take a golf bag with 1 ball in it. That's your lucky charm.
Yeah,
we're onto
there's a
something
guy
there.
that has superstitions, or he's got some demons in his closet.
That's right.
Last one on the Masters. Obviously, last year was an incredible one with Rory. You called it the greatest sports movie of all time, and I think for guys like us as well, like seeing Rory, like it was, you had to have a tear rolling down your eye. But what was that like? Like like I said, you said the greatest sports movie of all time. Like, is that something you meant that was something that was true to you? And what was it like?
Well, when Tiger won in 18, 19, I'm bad with the years. I didn't think I'd ever see anything like that again, right? Just because of the story was so remarkable. And it might take me 10 or 20 years to figure out in my head when people ask me, what was the best Masters or what was the most memorable Masters ever, assuming nothing else happens. Because the Tiger one was so special because of Tiger and everything else. But the Tiger one was amazing because of Tiger. And it was pretty cool. Like in the middle of the round, if you look back at that leaderboard, it was pretty wild, like around from 12 to sort of 11 to 15. That sort of span there was pretty nuts, with guys going water on 12, and Koepka was in it, and I think Xander was in it, and Cantlay was in it.
Frankie Molinari, yeah.
Frankie was leading it and collapsed. But it did not have like the drama and the plot twists that Rory's had. Like, I don't think we'll ever see a Masters that has that. You talked about that double on 13 from, where he looked like me from 60 yards with that big fat green, and the worst shot of his life, followed by the, maybe 15, maybe the greatest shot of his life, and then back and forth with these horrible shots and these amazing shots. And I think the shot on 17 or whatever, which was ludicrous, that people will forget probably. And just, all his history there, and then the playoff and everything else, him almost screwing up again on 18 and missing the first putt, just everything that went with that. I probably think that I'm going to answer that someday when they tell me about it. And we have this rule about no cheering in the press box or whatever, which I try to abide by most of the time. I took journalism. I try to be a professional, but we were all on our set. Same like I told you earlier, I couldn't be on 18. I went up to 18 when Tiger won, but I had to be. We watched the playoff in our set last year, and I think all of us let out like a primal yell on our set. I heard the guys at Golf Channel and ESPN do the exact same thing when he made that cut, because
content.
No, but just like you were dying for the guy. Please do not let him blow this again.
Yeah.
And it was as much, I think, relief for everyone watching as it was for him.
Yeah.
I was exhausted. I took my wife to New York City for her 35th birthday, and as a good husband, I made her drive home so I could watch, on my computer, which I was streaming, getting Wi-Fi from my phone. And we walked in, I think it was 17, and my in-laws there, I booed them out, like, get out of the way. I'm getting the TV on. Kids are so happy to see me. And it's like, I'm busy. Daddy's busy. Give me a minute. And it was just, the ups and downs. Like, I felt like, it was like we all felt that relief in the end. It's like, okay, that was the only way he could have done it.
Yeah, it was. And that's why what you're saying about the movie, I just can't think of, sports has great drama. We saw it on the weekend with the NCAA and Gary Woodland, and it's the greatest thing about sports. But I'm not sure that I'll witness in my career something that had that many fascinating roller coasters and that much backstory to it to end that way. And it's funny, we taped our post show and all of our hits, and we were finally leaving. I remember I had a beer in my hand and was walking down the pathway. It was pitch dark, and this cart came towards us, and it was Rory, who I guess was on his way to probably to Golf Channel. And I couldn't stop.
Do you have a minute, Rory? Do you have a minute?
I didn't try to stop him or anything, but I just couldn't help myself but say, holy crap, man, that was amazing. And he was like, thank you. It was really cool. One of those days that just, you feel so lucky to do the job you do, to be able to be there and witness it.
Yeah.
I know you, we don't want to keep you too long, but I want to know, leading into this year's, where are your thoughts at? Big storylines, obviously. The Tiger stuff's kind of overlooming a lot of what's about to happen, and who knows where that ends up. But outside of that, like, where's your head at in terms of the storylines going into 2026 here?
Yeah, I mean, the Tiger thing it's a shame it happened this time, this close to the Masters. There's two different stories here. There's no chance. I don't think he's going to be. I can't see. He's got much bigger problems in life than golf.
Yeah.
I feel awkward when I hear people just talking about, do you think he could still play? Because that's got to be his least of his priorities. He's got to get things straight.
Could and should are two different questions.
Yeah, 100%. But it's before this had even happened, I was saying to colleagues that this is going to sound weird because I love watching Tiger Woods play his entire career, and I told you what I felt about his last win, but I was kind of getting tired of the Tiger story every year. That it was, we would go there every year and we'd be like, okay, what are the big stories this week? And well, we better start with Tiger. And I started to argue that, a few years ago we stopped doing that, but for the longest time we did. And I'm like, guys, at some point, this whole thing of, he comes and does his news conference on the Tuesday or whatever and says, I'm only here to win. And then, either misses the cut or makes the cut and has to withdraw because of injury. And then says, well, I obviously hadn't played much golf realistically. Well, I really had no chance. And you're going, well, why were we fooled into thinking you did somehow?
Yeah.
So I was kind of over the Tiger golf story. I'm like, sure, let's watch him walk around Thursday and Friday at the Masters and bow to everything he's accomplished. But I'm more interested in Scotty and Rory and who might win this year, sort of thing. So that's the way I felt before the whole accident and everything happened. So I think it will be obviously a topic in the first few days, but once the golf tournament starts, the golf tournament will take over. And I mean, Scotty's having a kid. Has he had his kid yet? His second kid? I know that's what he's doing. Is he getting any sleep? Is he going to come in on form? Because he's been good, but he hasn't been Scotty good. There's a million good stories. Bryson's playing so well, but is he going to show up? And then
Brooks is playing
on.
We're not talking about Brooks more heading into it. I think we're missing something
Rahm's
here.
playing well too. Brooks is looks really good. I mean, there's a million good stories and new guys like Goddard and like Cam Young too, right? Like the last time we saw Cam Young, he was just on fire, and he's kind of been that way the last year. So I think as always, there's probably 20 guys that have a really good chance to win, and 10 that probably have. We could probably rhyme off 10 here, no problem. That are Patty Reed's playing pretty well and everything too. So I'll just get caught. Well, I think as soon as they tee it up Thursday morning, we'll get all caught up in the golf. And I don't think there's one story that stands out this year. I guess number one would be Rory trying to defend, but I think there's sort of like 15, 20 equal ones. The thing, what's going back to Rory though, when we were leaving there last year, I said to the guys, like Weeksy and I and Jamie, our producer, were talking and saying, we'll never see a better Masters than that, because what story in our lifetime is going to match that, right? There's no story left. Yeah, maybe there'll be an incredibly dramatic one with crazy playoffs or somebody holes out on 18 or something like that. But what story is going to have the backstory of Rory? I mean,
the 15
I guess
years of history.
Speed to come back and win, and that would be kind of cool. But there's nothing that's going to match like what we've seen with Tiger's win and Rory's win. I guess if Tiger came back and won 3 years from now or something like that, maybe, but highly unlikely. And I don't think I think it's impossible to match the size and weight of that story, at least in the next 20 years or something. So it's kind of depressing in a way. But
kind of ruined the whole Masters for me.
Sorry about that. Look, we're probably in for like a letdown this year just because of that, right? Now you're going to get whatever. You're going to get Cam Young winning by 4 strokes, right? And tapping in for a 3-putt on 18 or something like that, because the golf gods will say we were too spoiled last year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing Cam Young win, by the way. I'm not
I would love to see
I'm just saying we're in probably for some sort of boring.
I would not. If you want boring, his reaction winning the Masters, when he won the Players, that was the most boring celebration.
Yeah, but he seems like a good dude. You're right. Yeah. He's very boring. He's boring that way, but
just like smiles, maybe.
Xander's another one who's playing real well, who one of these days is probably gonna win one of those.
But I think you're right. Like that's also what made Rory so special last year. I think everyone through his reaction to winning felt that pressure. Just a 3-foot putt, and in 2 seconds, that 15 years of pressure came off his shoulders. Like it was absolutely incredible. Absolutely
that walk,
incredible.
the way CBS shot that, the walk through the crowd and just the way Rory reacted. I think one of the greatest 90 seconds of television I've ever seen.
I think it was like Jim Nantz did 2 minutes and 30 seconds or something. Didn't say a word, which is just excellent. Absolutely excellent.
The silence unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because most people want to put themselves in there, and Jim is.
Yeah, I would have ruined that. I'd be like, "Look at Rory! Look how he's
I did want to finish up. Obviously, we're a golf podcast. We talk about golf, but we said it at the top. You were just at Milano Cortina. And you've obviously done a huge amount in hockey. And I said at the top, and I don't even know if I'm accurate, but that was rumored to be one of the most watched international hockey tournaments or Olympic hockey tournaments of all time. And obviously, US, Canada, all of that feeling and emotion was there. But there was one moment that you had in the pregame, which and I love the question, by the way, a question that you put to Wayne Gretzky. And I just wanted to ask you what prompted that question and his reaction. Did you, or his answer, was that kind of like you expected that answer? What prompted that? And if you had that moment back, would you do anything differently?
So I found out that I think either the night before or the morning of that Wayne was coming to the set. I first of all have a long relationship with Wayne. That dates back, well, I don't know, since I started covering the game, so 25 years.
40 years? Oh, sorry, my bad.
When my first book is called The Day I Almost Killed Two Gretzkys, about an incident where in one golf round I almost hit both Wayne and Walter and killed them. Would have been a heck of a legacy. And Wayne wrote a bit for that book for me. So I've known him for a long time, interviewed him a ton of times. Uh, when I found out he was coming to our set, which was the semifinals, I think Canada and Finland, I did a lot of thinking to myself. Obviously, it's no secret to anyone, the controversy that surrounded him over the past year. And I don't care which side. I'm sure, there's half the people that could care less. He's Wayne Gretzky, the greatest player ever. There's another side of people that have completely sort of disowned him. Um, but he really hadn't addressed it. Maybe once or twice on a podcast or something, but had never really addressed it. And I felt that it was my responsibility, broadcaster, journalist, host, whatever you want to call me, to at least give him a chance to address it. Wayne came by just to say hi about an hour before the interview. He was doing Swedish TV before. Most of the time, if I'm interviewing with someone, I'm not going to, tell them what we're talking about. But I felt in this case that I didn't want to catch him off guard or anything like that. So I said, "Hey, Wayne, we have a 6-minute interview. We're going to talk hockey for 5 minutes, but my last question, I'm going to ask you something about the last year and give you a chance to say whatever you want about it." And I spent a lot of time thinking about the wording of the question. I knew full well, by the way, that I was going to take heat from both sides. That
I thought the question was on. I texted you and said I loved the question. I thought you worded it perfectly.
No, thank you. I'm not fishing for compliments, but you
get one. You owe me $5 now too, so we're even.
People that feel strongly about this thing are very divided, as just the way we are politically right now. So I knew that the one side would say, "Why do you have Wayne Gretzky on the set? He's whatever. He's been a traitor to Canada or whatever like this. And why did you ask him softballs? You should have grilled him." And then the other side would be the complete opposite and say, "How dare you ask Wayne Gretzky a question like that? Greatest hockey player ever. Politics have no business in sport." And for the most part, I agree, by the way, that politics have no business in sport. But I felt in this case that you couldn't just let it slide by. So I worded the question in the sense of just saying it's been I can't remember exactly what I said, but it's been a tumultuous year where, Canadians have been unsettled more than ever because of the situation in the States, and hockey's been pulled into it, and you've been pulled into it. And, what would you say to Canadians? I thought I left it as open-ended as possible. I thought he handled it very well. And that was that. Like everybody else, I wanted to move on to the hockey game. And it was, I did take, I took the heat that I completely expected to take. And some of the messages you get are, man, it's people have some very crazy strong opinions. But
I apologize. I was drinking. I didn't mean to send you those texts.
The funny thing is, whenever I get something like that, I will always randomly choose to respond to one person. I never get in social media fights or anything like that. I have no time for it. Yeah. But I'll always, if I get 5,000 messages, I'll pick one to respond to. And so I just randomly DM to get one guy, and I can't even remember what I said to him. I was very polite and just said, I felt it was a question that should be asked or whatever. And his response the night when he got back to me, "Hey man, I'm so sorry. I was really wasted." I might have responded to him because it might have been one of the most vile ones I got.
Yeah.
You effing mother! How dare you, motherfucker! And I'm like, "Hey man, sorry you disagree with me. Here's why I did it." "Oh man, I'm sorry. I love you, man. I watch you all the time on TV. I'm so sorry I said that." It's just so funny. The way people are.
There's another Canadian different flavor, Mac Boucher, the golf kind of content creator influencer, and I think because like you said, there's probably a fine line between getting sucked in and then sometimes I don't know, but Mac does a great job. Like he'll often post screenshots and stuff, and 99% of the time that's what happens. People just send these absolutely vile messages behind a keyboard. Yeah, no one's ever going to know my name. And then he responds and they're like, oh my God, I didn't know you were going to respond. I'm so sorry. Like,
I saw a great tweet today. The coach of UConn, after they hit that basket. So, UConn beats Duke on a last second miracle on the weekend. And I can't remember the coach's name. I'm drawing a blank. He's a really fiery coach, the coach of
Yep.
UConn. And he basically jumps up and screams and chest bumps this guy. And then he gets really calm and has to go shake hands with like the opposing team. And some guy wrote, me on Twitter compared to me on LinkedIn.
Yeah, exactly.
This coach going mad for like 5 seconds with the bubble shaking all these guys' head. But yeah, it's like that. And to answer your other question, I have no regrets at all about doing it. I do the same thing over and over again. I really don't care if people get mad. I don't care if people scream at me. And the only people, I care about doing my job. And so that's all that matters. Wayne was fine with it. 100% fine. I had, I think what happened is somebody on the right side of things maybe published an article or something saying that I ambushed Wayne Gretzky, and that's what kind of freaked out the populace. I think probably half of the people that yelled at me didn't even see the interview actually. So I was fine. But I, by the way, again, I agree. Like I would rather just talk hockey. And just get there. But if a situation like that gets placed in front of you, you have to try to handle it.
No, you did a great job. We're going to get you out of here. I got 3 quick questions for you, and we'll get going. I just finished the Beauties, Certified Beauties audiobook. Great job. When are you doing that golf version? I got a story for you, but when are you doing a golf version?
I shouldn't I?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll write the foreword. It's fine. You don't have to ask. I'll do it.
Writing a book, man, is a lot. Like Steph, I have done 5 now, but every time I finish one, I'm like, oh God, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah.
Because it's Nate Bargatze, the comedian, has a bit where he talks about books and reading. He doesn't read much because he's like, it's a lot of words.
Yeah.
Like, why don't they have books that leave like 20 blank pages in the middle just to give you a rest?
Well, it's not even the book now. Then you got you probably did what 20, 30 hours reading it for the audiobook on top of that.
The audiobook and everything. And so I love doing it, but it just is a lot of work. So I usually have to take a couple of years off, although I'm writing another thing right now that I was kind of working on both at the same time, which is a different kind of book just about kind of the stuff we've talked about here, where they wanted me to write about being at these events. So what was it like, when you're there when Rory wins, and what was it like when you're there at the Olympics and when Sidney Crosby scored the goal? So kind of my perspective on those events that I've covered, which is actually really much harder to write about than writing other people's stories, hockey stories or whatever, because I'm not really good at writing about myself. But I'm working on that book now. But I would love to do, you guys know how much I love golf. I would love to do. Maybe there's probably a golf writer who's a better writer than me that should do that book. But I hold the copyright for Beauties now, so maybe Golf Beauties will be the next one.
Golf Beauties would be so good. Quickly, top 5 courses you played.
I want to specify that I'm not wearing a hat to try to be cool like you guys or to promote TaylorMade as much as I love TaylorMade. I had a day off today and I played golf yesterday. I don't think I've showered in 36 hours. And look at this. Like literally
well, we won't cut that out.
I could never go on TV like this. I literally, I was busy, and when I realized I was 5 minutes before your podcast, I don't have a time to shower, so I better get a cap.
No, the hair plugs from Turkey look great, buddy.
Some people think I have a toupee, so you can look at it right now.
I've seen it in person. It is a lot grayer in person than
it is gray. And that's the other thing. O-Dog always tries to tell people I dye my hair. It's one of my few genetic gifts from my dad. So it is gray. Look at you can get in there. It's pretty gray. But
I won't pump your tires too much, James. But when Steph said we're having you on, I turned to my wife and I said, Do you know how old James Duthie is? And I won't say how old you are, but anyway, I thought you were
71.
about 20 years younger than what you are. So
Yeah,
I'll pump your tires there for a
I
bit.
haven't dyed my hair, but I've had a lot of plastic surgery.
A lot of work. Yeah, his face doesn't. He can't smile. It's all AI on TV. 2 more questions. Top 5 courses you've played. I assume Augusta's up there.
Yeah.
You got a list on your phone, don't you?
I was down at Super Bowl before the. I sound like I'm name dropping. I'm not trying to. Before I went to the Olympics, I was at Super Bowl and I played a track down an hour from San Francisco, Half Moon Bay, maybe.
Okay, yeah.
There's a Ritz-Carlton like right on the cliff there, and it's a spectacular. When we play golf next, Steph, I'll show you the shots. It was really cool. It had a Cabot-y feel, which gets into my right behind Augusta would be Cabot for me. Cliffs, links, I don't care. It's just one of my favorite places in the world. I absolutely love it. Geez. I mean, there's been courses I've played. There's probably courses I've played around the world, but I'll be more partial to being like the places I play around here. Like I love the Hood over at TPC. I love Wooden Sticks because it's just so fun.
We're about to go there for Cole's post-wedding bachelor party.
Mhm.
I got to shout out Hamilton, which Steph and I played together, which
So
is just such a pure golf course. That might be like the purest golf course I've played anywhere. And I'm partial, like no one would ever put King's Riding on their top 5 golf courses, but, and sorry, Coppenwood. Oh, I love Coppenwood, which I play all the time. But the course, you fall in love. I live, the 2 courses I play the most are Coppenwood and King's Riding. King's Riding's 3 minutes from my house. And, I joined it without even playing it ever, just when it was time for me to join a golf course. And the first few times I played it, I don't know. And it's never going to be on anybody's list. And if you guys came and played, I don't know if you have, Steph, you'd be like, eh. But when you play a course several hundred times, I just think all the intricacies, you fall madly in love with, and you realize all those, like the subtle brilliances of it. So I'm very fond of the course I play a lot. It's, it's a little bit different every day, and I love that too.
Now I notice St. Andrews, the old course, wasn't on that list. So my last question. That's my last question. What are you doing around October 17th to 24th this year?
Are you going?
Yeah, you want to come?
Yeah.
Well, I probably can't because I probably have hockey games in there, but it is like a week-long trip. I was going to ask you guys, and I'll throw this out too for your help and listeners. My son is fallen in love with the game like I have, and he's actually really good. But I want to, before he gets married and settles down, I want to go to Ireland or Scotland. I was thinking Ireland. I've been to.
Well, we did Ireland together in May, and
yeah. So
I'm thinking like me and my son,
you go a big trip, like
we had four of us.
We had 4 of us.
You think you need 4? Like, could you go a twosome? Or?
You can go to read Tom Coyne's book, A Course Called Ireland. If you haven't read that book. Yeah, if you haven't read that book, James, I've quoted we're 16 episodes in, and I've quoted it multiple times.
Yeah.
But that book and No Laying Up series basically helped us choose all of the courses. But that book, basically what he does is he walks the perimeter of Ireland with his bag on his back and plays all the links courses in Ireland.
Oh my God.
And it's got to be the best golf book of all time. But if you're going with your son, it's kind of like I think about the difference of Scottish culture to Irish culture. If you're trying to go with your son and have that bonding trip, the culture of Ireland is amazing. Like the bars, the nightlife, the people, the golf courses.
It's like there's 2 different trips in there with Ireland, really. So I'm just going to have to pick one. And I may not even try to get on, like, I know how it's like booking a year in advance to get on the Royal Port Rushes and
such. We did West. We were up, like, I'll give you, Carn is a golf course that you'll never have heard of. And if you laying up, if you watch their kind of series, Carn, you'll never play a course like this in your life.
Must go.
You are on the furthest part west of Ireland. The next closest point to land is Canada.
Nova Scotia. When you look out to the ocean, the next point of land is Nova Scotia.
You got dunes. On the second hole, my buddy hit it up on this dune, And I walked up there to find his golf ball. So I'm like, oh, I'm sure I can find it up there. And when I looked down, I said, I have to go down my ass because I was at least 80 feet in the air and I was terrified. So cool. And then you get like that end where it's not amazing conditions, but it's like when you show up, they're so appreciative of you being there. Like the GM was there and I was talking about the book and No Laying Up's video, and he's like, without those two things, like this course would have gone bankrupt years ago. Like you guys coming here, like you don't like it. He even said like it sounds like I'm going overboard, but like that pays these people's salary. Like it's still, even with the green fees they pay, it's not like they're flowing with cash. And you go to these kind of hidden gems and you go to the little Hinches of the world and the Bally Bunions of the world, but it's everywhere you go, you're going to feel like everyone wants to know you're having an amazing time. And that's so if you're doing that one trip with your son, I would say Ireland.
That's what I'm
go to St. Andrews.
I'm trying to do that this summer. Like I said, I was trying to see if I could, mooch on with somebody else's bigger trip. But if the two of us can go, maybe it's easier to get times and just play.
We got a bigger trip, October 17th to 24th. We're going to Scotland.
Hey,
there's spots for both.
If I knew I had no Leafs game, unfortunately, I don't find out my hockey schedule, or if I knew I had no hockey games, but because I'd love to. And that's one thing I have not done, besides Cabot, which I've been to 5 or 6 times. I haven't really done any golf trips. So that's over the next 10 years. My goal is to do Ireland a couple of times and to do Scotland and, even to do, some of the places in the States once we start traveling to the States again, and it's socially. So.
All right, brother. Well, we'll leave it at that. Took so much of your time, but so good, I know with you talking golf. So
yeah, I will. I could talk golf with you guys forever. So thanks for giving me the chance to. And
new co-host.
What's that?
New co-host. He said he could talk with us forever. Yeah. He's free. He has nothing on the calendar.
I
still don't know how Steph got you. It
was good to officially meet you, Cole. That's another trip that's on my list is New Zealand, because you want to hear the craziest. Just before I let you go, this is the craziest travel story ever. Matthew Shinetti, who is our CFL and World Cup reporter, we were chatting one day. And he said, "Yeah, I just got back from New Zealand." And I said, "Oh, weren't you on CFL last weekend?" He said, "Yeah, I had 4 days off, so I went to New Zealand."
Jeepers.
I'm like, what? He was in New Zealand for a day and a half.
Yeah, I was going to say 48 hours, and he would have been turning around, coming back again.
Him and his buddy flew to New Zealand, spent a day and a half there, and flew back to Canada. I said, that is the single dumbest thing. You are the dumbest human being. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I love New Zealand, but that is the stupidest thing any person has ever done.
I can't disagree. When me and my wife go, I'm like, it's 2.5 weeks minimum.
You got it. But anyway, that's definitely on my list somewhere along the way. And we had friends. One of my son's best friends is working in golf in Australia, and his parents went over. They love golf too, and played a bunch of rounds, and they went to New Zealand and played a couple of times and said it was unbelievable. So that's on my bucket list too.
Yeah, it's a long way away, but I'm a Canadian, been here 10 years now, but New Zealand will always be home. It is a special place, and again, it's like I said at the top. There's a lot of cultural similarities with New Zealand and Canada, which I love as well. So but James, thanks so much, man. You've given us so much of your time. Very generous of you, and we appreciate you. You're a legend. Keep doing what you're doing, and thanks for joining us.
I was going to say, if we have someone drop out of Cole's bachelor party, it's at Wooden Sticks.
Yes, please.
I will call you up. Yeah.
Please. And one last thing before I go. Yeah. When you watch the Masters on TSN, because I know diehard golf fans listen to your podcasts, please do not tweet me on Thursday at 11 a.m. and say, why aren't you showing Corey Connors or whatever? Remember, it is bonus coverage. I have to say this every year. We only have the feeds that the Masters gives us. We do not select the featured groups. We can only show Amen Corner and whatever it is, 4, 5, and 6, and 15 and 16. Please don't yell at me. I'm doing my best.
I might start a burner account and just tweet you now.
Brad Fritsch was our. This is the longest goodbye ever. I'm sorry. Brad Fritsch, the former PGA Tour pro from Ottawa, who's a buddy. He
runs Red
was
Rooster Golf now. Yeah,
he was our analyst one year on the Masters. Yeah, Red Rooster Golf, great gloves.
Mm-hmm.
So he was our analyst one year on the Masters. So he found out about this situation where people complain about the bonus coverage because they're not seeing what they want. And I do get it. People are used to seeing what they see on CBS, which is all the golfers, and they can't. It's hard to wrap your head around the fact that this bonus coverage is not all the golfers. It's just specific things, but this is what the Masters gives us. And TSN is, I think, one of 2 countries in the world that they allow them to put on TV. And I always tell people, it could be like when I was growing up where all you got was the back 9 on Saturday and Sunday. But Fritchie, every year, he will tweet a complaint about the coverage because he knows it gets to me. And every year he's like, hey, TSN, what the hell are you doing? Why can't I see Nick Taylor on 9? Oh, you're such an asshole, Fritchie.
All
right,
Brad's great. All right, James, really appreciate it, brother. Have a good night.
Appreciate it, James. Cheers, man. Thanks a lot. All right, who's on the card for next week now, Steph? That was awesome.
Yeah, that was great. Your intro when probably 20 of the hour 20 we had him, but
come on, man. He appreciated it. I was going for the, I was going for the Jason Kelsey New Heights hype.
If you watch,
he's a professional, man.
If you don't watch the video, which I assume most people don't watch video,
I think we have more YouTube views than Spotify.
The laughs I was having throughout that whole process.
I'm going to cut you out.
Yeah, I was giggling because I know I know how much James probably he does not care about it, but he was laughing. Like you could tell he was giggling about it. He was giggling. And then when I did the all right, then I thought you were done. And then there was another
I gave you the notes, man.
Yeah,
God,
I don't read your stuff, man.
Well, that was my job interview didn't go well then. Bombed it.
Yeah.
No, that was awesome. Thanks for getting him on. Like what a I'm trying to come up with a better term, but what a down to earth guy. Like so good.
I think I mentioned it last time, but you find I don't want to call him when I want to say when I was a journalist, when we were doing the podcast with Flagstick for 3 years, you get in these weird inner circles and you meet people like that. And then you somehow have their number and you talk about random shit. Like he mentioned his buddy Mark Ward passing. And for some reason we were texting that day and he was just talking about his friend. And I was like, I guess we are. And it's just so weird to be like, oh, you watch this guy on TV for, I haven't watched a lot of Leafs games this year because it's been bad, but I've probably watched since 2004 to the last 22 years, 90% of Leaf games.
Yep.
So every time they're on TSN, he's on TV, and then suddenly playing golf with that. And then you get to meet the guy. And as you were so nervous leading up to it, you meet the guy. And after 5 minutes, you probably didn't even realize you were talking to.
Oh yeah.
And he doesn't want, he's just a normal dude. It's just a job to him, but you see a guy on TV and there's that aura, I guess. And he just doesn't he's just like, no, I'm knocking that down. So he's a great dude. And I said weird to call him a friend, but officially.
You got the answer.
Yep.
And because it could have been a quick episode with a no at the start.
That would have been sick.
But no, you're right. I mean, like I said, I'm coming up to my 10th anniversary in Canada. And I think from the moment I landed.
Well, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not.
According to
Mr. Carney, who knows, your other friend and your phone, apparently. Do you have an encrypted link or something that you got to text him on?
Yes, I do.
No, but from the moment I landed in Canada, he's and I was nervous because he's been a staple on my TV screen, and beauty of a guy. I thought it was really interesting, because I wanted to ask, it's a golf podcast, but I did want to ask the Wayne Gretzky question because that was, he copped obviously a lot of heat for that. And when you hear about it, he's a consummate professional because most of the 90% of the backlash for that was, oh, you ambushed him, blah, blah, blah. No one knows. He's like, no, I literally spoke to him beforehand and said, I'm going to ask you this question, you know?
Yeah. And it's like you hope the chaos in me wants to go, I wish you didn't, and just let that happen. But the person in me realizes that's not the professional way, especially with that professional relationship. So no, I thought, I know you wanted to get to that, and we were so deep in the Masters, and I think we got the professional side of James, we got the golf side.
Yeah.
And the storytelling, like,
oh, incredible.
A small story. And there was so many times that you would ask, like, we'd ask a 2-part question, you'd ask a 2-part question, and he'd go on a big tangent on the first part, and then he'd remember that second part.
He always loops it back. Yeah,
it's so impressive.
Yeah,
it's the active listening that I wish I had that skill set. He's just a great dude. Great dude all around.
Well, as we said, it's a lead up to the Masters. Obviously, this coming weekend we've got the Valero, Texas Open, so we'll review that next week. But we'll continue our 3-week Masters lead up next week. But
Tiger Woods next week.
Tiger Woods next week. Yeah. But huge shout out to James for coming on. If you're in Canada, tune into the bonus coverage on TSN at the Masters. It's absolutely excellent. And throw him a tweet complaining about that. No, don't do that. Now you know the story of why.
I can't wait to text them that.
Yeah, we got. Well, guys, as always, help us out. Give a like, give a subscribe for episode 16.
Hey, before we go.
Yeah, what?
I think we've been doing a good thing with the side bets on the week to week.
Okay, actually, no, that's a very good point. I'm glad you brought this up. So we've got our picks for this weekend. We can do the one for this weekend, but as we were talking with James and as you read the your letter from Mr. Carney to me, I was thinking for the Masters, we've got to have...
That's Prime Minister Carney.
Sorry, what did I say?
Mr.
Oh, Prime Minister Carney.
Yeah.
I was worried that I said President Carney there for a second. No, so yes, let's come up for one for this weekend, but for the Masters, we should do our picks, but then we should also do Battle of the Canadians. We get to pick a Canadian each as a side bet.
I don't think you should get any. What? I think you forfeited that, and I get them all, and then I just went.
I had a completely objective, professionally golf-based opinion about how Taylor Pendrith was gonna play this past weekend, and it came true.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not saying I don't like Taylor Pendrith.
So what's our bet for this week?
Okay, this weekend.
Because I came up with the statement idea last week.
Well, you're really fucking putting me on the spot here now. I'm gonna have to edit out a big pause.
No, it's okay. I think here's what we'll do.
Okay.
So.
Great idea.
Whoever wins this week,
between
Tommy and who would you take?
Steven Yeager.
So the following week for the Masters, you're gonna pick your guy. I'm gonna pick my guy. You get first pick.
I get first pick at the Masters. I actually 6 weeks ago I looked at that and I knew I was pretty.
That's pretty clutch.
Yeah, it is.
So then each guy. What I get to do is, so if I win this week, I get to add a guy onto yours, and I get to add a guy onto mine. But if you win, you get to add it. So I'm getting 2 guys for the Masters.
Oh, okay.
But if I win this week, I get to pick your second guy and my guy.
Okay, right. And
so, like, I win this week, you're getting like Sandy Lyle. You're getting Mike Weir.
Okay, so the guy that wins, so out of Tommy and Steven this week, whoever wins, basically next week for the Masters, we get our regular picks.
Yeah.
And then the guy who wins get 2 additional picks, one for the loser and one for himself.
But we'll say, because if you go on like DraftKings, FanDuel, there's a list of the olds that are hanging out. We'll say, like, if they're over 50, you can't pick them.
Yeah, let's say
49 and a half.
Let's say if they only made it in through a past champions exemption, like if that was the only way they got in, that doesn't count.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
You're very good. You're very quick. I'll give you credit. You're very quick on the spot with these things. That's good.
Degenerate.
I'm hopeless. I'm the professional. You're the degenerate.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. With that intro. Yeah. Why don't you give me that intro next week?
Well, because you always do the intros and you're like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, because that's some chill guy.
Sandbagger Sessions. Chill guy.
What's up, Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm the vibes guy. You're the, I don't know what you are. The weekend hat.
I'm the guy here. All right, that one. Hey, also, congratulations. You won club championship.
Well, I didn't really win.
You won. You won in a playoff.
I won the non-professionals.
The eligible winners.
You won out of all the eligible winners.
You won out of all the eligible winners.
I'll take it.
Pretty stumbled.
Absolutely
into the back
stumbled.
nine.
I mean, that was. Not just the back nine. It was the whole round. That was a tough setup. We played the old course with a little bit of wind, kind of some more difficult pins, hard greens. But no excuses. Hey, just didn't play well. But
I walked home with all the cash. So
you walked home with all the cash. Big week for me coming up this week. Actually, immediately after this episode, I'm going to my prep for Thursday Night Men's League because it's coming down to the wire for the season-long race. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be exciting.
Well, that's it. Between a 20-minute goodbye with James Duthie and now a 10-minute goodbye
we got
with
a
us.
2-hour episode here.
We got a 2-hour episode. But thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week for episode 17. And see you then. Cheers. Peace.